purpose of being here tonight is we're trying to move to a self-funded insurance program. We feel that'd be the best move for our staff to control costs, especially when you do the yearly renews, and y'all are aware of that as you do that with county employees and look at the insurance costs. So what we're asking to do is take any rollover funds from this year and place it into a contingency fund to help cover any, if we have for say a bad year in the future, we'd have that funds there to help cover that. The general costs that will be covered by our contribution and our employee contribution into this fund. But if we did have a year that exceeded that, we'd need to have some contingency funds there to help cover the cost. So we're asking for this year particularly that we take any rollover funds and put that into that insurance account. And then again, if we move forward, we would come to you with rollover funds. Hopefully we won't ever need to use it. But if we did have to come forward in the future, we could take any of the rollover funds as opposed to being into capital in our CIP to maybe take a portion of that and place it into that if need be. But my understanding of the agreement when it was first started for the rollover funds was that you allowed us to take those funds, put into a CIP, and for us to use it for any other purpose, we need your approval. So that's why I come to you tonight to ask you to take rollover funds from this year and place it into, before you can place it into that insurance fund.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. I guess when you look at this, it's going to create a savings in your insurance lines. Is that?
We anticipate a savings for that, also a savings for our employees, and then moving forward, we won't be battling the 25-30% possible increases in insurance costs for our employees every year. We can be more negotiable. We have better chance, better opportunity to get that rate at a better rate for us. It does not affect the employees at all. It just mainly their insurance will not change, but it does affect the backside of how we manage the accounts. And we have a specialist here, Mr. Matt Smith. He can talk to you more about the fine details if you have any questions regarding that.
Dr. Wells, how many other counties are going the self-funded route?
I know there's some in the area. I'd have to.
Virtually all the ones I know are, there are some exceptions that have gone with the local choice. That is also a self-funded program, but it operates more like a fully insured program. I think the last statistic I saw, this is nationwide, I think 80% of groups 500 and above are self-funded. All the schools and counties that I deal with in Virginia are self-funded.
Yeah, it's difficult to hear you. So
Could you come up here and for the audience that may be on YouTube?
Yeah, my question is, roughly a percentage of Virginia counties that are doing it, and are any in our area?
Yeah, so I can't give you a percentage in Virginia. I could find out for you. I can tell you I do work for Campbell County, Lynchburg City Schools. All those groups are self-funded.
That's all I need. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I've got one question.
Yes, sir.
So this money you want to move over to the reserve, that's not coming from the money that's been allocated for the school expansion, correct?
No, it's just rollover money. We have rollover money that would normally go into the CIP, but instead of placing it into our CIP for next year, we would place it into this fund.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I guess my question would be, how does that affect your CIP going forward? I know there was a decision made. We're doing a lot of work at the school. I know we're doing a lot of renovation. I guess that's covering some of the costs at the high school, but you still have your infrastructure you need to maintain and upkeep.
So most of the annual stuff is in our budget. The regular upkeep's in our annual budget, but then we are receiving roughly $2 million in state funds this year for construction that we have to spend over the next 2 years. And we're going to put that money towards some of the projects that may have been covered with our current, so this money may have been our CIP. So we feel this is the right time to do it. We have the extra income coming from the state that we can use to cover some of our costs. But then also a lot of the projects on our CIP were at the high school, and some of those projects are being absorbed as we do some of this renovation at the high school. So we're actually meeting in September to revamp our CIP and kind of study that a little deeper. But we do feel that it would, this is the best time. If we're going to do it, this is the time to do it with the money coming from the state this year. And that would kind of offset some of those costs.
So, Dr. Wells, you may have mentioned this, but is this a one-time allocation or is this recurring year after year?
No, we anticipate it being a one-time allocation. Okay. However, if we do get to a point where the funds have to be reduced, we would come to you and say we'd like to put 100,000 of that money into this versus all going to the CIP. But we anticipate this being a one-time.
Okay.
All right, any more questions for Dr. Wells? All right,
I'll move that the board authorize the creation of a health insurance reserve for the schools, that all their fiscal year 21, 22 fiscal year end funds be allocated to that reserve, and henceforth the schools be granted the authority to allocate year-end funds between its capital improvement projects fund and its health insurance reserve.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Wade. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And Dr. Wells, I just want to wish you the best of luck this year as you go forward, as well as the school system. I've known you for a long time, and